everyone, I'm Theresa. Yes, I wrote that down because I thought I would forget. Thanks for turning up on this cold winter morning. Huge thanks to my model Amy and Ellie B for making her up with the makeup. Yeah. Thank you. If you don't know me, I'm a wife, mother, twin, you probably don't know that, and photographer. A bit of my backstory, I've been shooting for over 20 years. Simon and I started Salt Studios with Andrew and Latoya doing wedding photography until I realised it wasn't the path I wanted to be in. Not saying I hated it, but didn't love it as much as the other great photographers in town, like Dan. Growing up, I really wanted to be a fashion designer. I spent hours drawing dresses, but hated the sewing part. Living with my grandma, who supported and encouraged us to go for our dreams. She was always making our clothes and dressing us up and taking photos of us. I still design these days, but when I feel the urge. Art has been a big part of high school, as I was obsessed with the surrealistic mind of Salvador Dali. Pretty sure I failed art due to never handing work in on time, as most artists think it's not good enough. Through school, I did a photography course where I found the magic in the developing and printing in the darkroom. Watching an image I took slowly appear on the paper was truly magical. Fast forward to when I finally decided I needed to give fashion photography a go. Okay, these are just slides of some of my work and inspiration. As my awkward self and scared to ask people for help, turns out people aren't that scary. Ellie and I found each other in the front row there, thanks to Ellie. And we did our first shoot. I think we were both so nervous and self-doubt, but pretended to be professional. We both loved weird stuff, so our journey began. I still laugh about the one shoot that we did we put our model's face in a plate of glitter because we didn't know how to put glitter on their face, and stuck thumbtacks on his face and covered his face with shiny highlighter. He was so glowy. And she goes, "Do you think there's too much highlighter?" We looked like Tin Men, but it was amazing. We approached shoots and thought, what's the weirdest way we can do this? Try not to look like we were from the small country town, being inspired by designers like Alexander McQueen, which you would have seen his stuff. Amazing. With his stunning designs and wild runway shows that were nothing ever seen before. They were masterpieces, and the hair and makeup giving otherworldly, pushing boundaries of the conventional beauty. It was dark, theatrical, dramatic, aggressive, and shocking in the best way possible. And Vivienne Westwood, that would dress the punks and brought modern punk into the mainstream fashion, made being different more acceptable. I was hungry for more and just busting to learn more and create. So I enrolled into a masterclass with Nick Knight, and Ellie did the Val Garland makeup, which challenged us to be more avant-garde style. The course pushed me into creating a story and putting ourselves into our work. It gave me a reason and a purpose for making images, pushed us into being more bold, and inspired us to step away from the conventional beauty and find models that were unique and different. So, punk. Why me? I asked the same question over and over again. I was approached to do this talk after lots of meltdowns and self-doubt. I thought, well, the punks don't care what people think, so I figured it'd be a great challenge for me. Thanks for asking. I wouldn't call myself punk, but I'm deeply inspired by their rebellious spirit, their defiance, and the way they challenge the status quo. As a visual person, it's the punks and the people daring to be different are the people I want to photograph. They make me want to make unique images. Photographers that continue to inspire me, like Nick Knight, that embodies the strange and beautiful, Tim Walker with his dreamlike and fairy tale feel, and very much inspired by Stephen Klein with his dark and edgy way he photographed people, the way he used light and delicious colours and making a statement with his images. I think flooding all this inspiration in my mind with all these images helped me discover my own style and direction. As I began shooting my own way, letting go of fear of judgment, and discovered the incredible freedom it brings. Down the rabbit hole I began. I met more creatives that had the same passion to make art different to the rest. I'm honoured that I have amazing, talented people that I trust to capture their work. I make people feel comfortable letting me photograph them. I still don't know why. Pretty awkward. When you do what you love with passion, your tribe finds you and you gain true connections. I began collaborating with the incredible, talented Brisbane-based makeup artist, Sarah Smith, and she's just a cool chick. We share the same artistic vision and appreciation for working with alternative models, seeking beauty in a unique and unconventional way. We're constantly sending each other Instagram reels and images and always dreaming up ideas for our next shoot. With her connections, I've been lucky to be able to work with very talented hairstylists, fashion designers, musicians and models. Being on set with Sarah and our team feels like home. There's no ego, just a group of passionate creatives having fun and making art, which is what I'm about. I work with a wearable artist that has opened my eyes to DIY and making incredible outfits out of recyclable materials. Making jackets out of tire rubber and dresses with wrapping paper. She blows my mind. I believe the people I've been blessed to work with are the punks in the industry, set out to change the perception of beauty, throw away the strive of perfection, and be more authentic and real. Perfect is boring. So don't fear the different, embrace it. Create boldly with passion and show the world who you are. It's the odd one out that's the one that stands out. So challenge yourself and experiment. A quote from Chase Jarvis, a commercial photographer: "Don't aim to be better, aim for different." Making art isn't always about changing the world. Sometimes it's just for the sake of our own sanity, which gets us through our dark days. Make bad art and learn from it. I love the punks and how they've paved the way for change and freedom of identity. And lastly, what Vivian said, if you know the young ones, you can't clean the toilet, Neil. It'll lose all its character. You've got to love the young ones. And that's all I really have written down on my scribble pad here. But I am welcome to questions if anyone has anything they want to know. That was probably way too quick.
All right, Ellie, ask away.
I would love to know, you've done so many incredible shoots, but what's been your favourite and why?
I don't know if I have a favourite. It's probably, I still love our favourite, our crazy stuff. Probably the ones at the front with Reese and the gold and the glitter and anything that's messy and cool and just weird. I think they're all my favourites. They're like my little babies. And it's always a team effort. It's not just me showing off my work, because like they're makeup artists, hairstylists, it's all brought together by a team. So
you've been photographing tons of people who live outside of the mainstream, and I'm really curious, as you're behind the camera, like what are they teaching you about yourself?
I think just to let go, and there's no judgment. So it's just fun, and just to have fun, not take yourself so seriously, I think. So, and experiment. Like at the end of the shoots, I shouldn't swear, but we go, let's just F it up. So we let go and just do some crazy stuff at the end half the time, mess up the hair more, spray paint it, or, just do some wild stuff.
Do you prefer the chaos of being out on location or the control of being on set?
I think I vibe with locations because you've got stuff to work with, and but then again, playing with the lighting and stuff is really fun too, and changing stuff up with lights and colours, and so that's always pretty fun. But location really does help the model too. Like if they're new models, that can help. You know, you've got stuff to work with, and yeah. Did that answer the question? Okay.
On the same sort of theme, how far would you travel for a shoot, and have you had any really fun or strange locations that have stuck out for you in your memory?
Oh, I'd probably travel anywhere if I can. I do a lot in Brisbane because I've got a cool group of creatives there that I work with. Where is something stand out? I don't know, there's lots of really cool studios in Brisbane that I get to work in and stuff, which have a great vibe. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of anything else.
As I'm walking to this question, I'm going to ask one. Have you got a dream that you have not yet fulfilled when it comes to an epic punk shoot?
Epic punk shoot. I'd love to just get a whole heap of skaters and do something really cool, like on the streets, and dress them up. And I love to just make a scene when we're doing photos, because I used to always worry about people staring when you're doing a shoot, but when you get over that, it's really just fun. Make a scene, give them something to stare at, I think.
Do we have any skaters in the room that are going to put up their hand? Let's make this dream come true.
My question is, and first of all, I've been following your work for ages, and I think you're just amazing. Like, the images you produce is just mind-blowing. I love it. I want to know, like, just from watching that slideshow coming through and all the very different and just amazing sort of concepts you've come up with, where do you get that inspiration? Like, where do you see, how do you find it? Like, how do you bring it all to life with that first initial idea?
We do a lot of mood boarding, so anything can really inspire stuff. Like a model can inspire like a whole idea, or there's things like bugs. Frankie, you know. Like I do up a mood board and stuff, and then we'll put that out there, and then think, how can we turn this into something like a cool shoot, editorial, or we find designers and then they will like come up with their sort of ideas. So it's always like a big group thing. But mainly, yeah, Instagram for me is such a huge, there's a lot of inspiration there. I know a lot of people get scared of it, but I only ever see inspiration. But I use a lot of Pinterest with mood boarding and stuff like that. But even lighting, like just looking at lights and locations and stuff, everything's quite inspiring. So every time I walk down the street, I'm looking at the shadows, or if you follow my stories, you'll probably see a whole lot of weird stuff like that. See art everywhere.
Hi Theresa, it's
Hello.
Kat here.
How are you?
Big fan of your work, followed for ages. I'm envious of the freedom in your photography, which is amazing. Is most of it, what percentage of your work is paid and what is passion project?
A lot of it, none of it ever feels like work, but like the hair stuff, and the barbers and hairdressers will employ me to do their shoots for their competitions. So like that pink shoot, and there's a few other the shoots, they were paid ones. But like when things are quiet, we'll just do editorial work just for being creative, and you just need to do it. So we've always got these ideas we need to just get out. So I mean, a lot of it, it's probably half and half. So I keep trying to do something creative constantly just to get work out there, basically.
Hi, I hadn't heard of your work before today, so it's very cool to see everything you've done. You're very, very talented. I would love to know, how do you deal with I guess, critiquing your own work and getting to like a place of acceptance of being like, this is finished, this is done, I'm okay with this. Or if you don't feel that way, how do you feel about presenting it to your client? Or because I know sometimes with making things that I make, I give things over and I'm like, that's atrocious. And then the client's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yes. There's
Every time.
always self-doubt constantly. You're like, when you send that first image, you're like freaking out going, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? And then they're like, if they just do a thumbs up, you're like, oh, shit. That's so good. What are they going to... But then they come back and they'll say, yeah, I love it. So you're like, phew, okay, I'm on the right track. But that's always going to be a thing. And, you know, like, I'll spend hours on a picture sometimes, especially the hair stuff, because you've got to fix up little bits and stuff. And you're always like, when they ask for a change, you're like, oh, crap, is that because I've done something wrong? But as artists, I think everyone is like that. We never think it's good enough. Yeah.
Sorry, hugging it. How much is AI helping you in this world, or not helping? Like, do you feel it's a tool, a threat? Like, what's your
I'm
vision?
not scared of AI, but I do use it sometimes for backgrounds and stuff and cleaning up things and stuff. But I haven't had too much of a play with it. I'm not scared of it. I think you just have to learn to live with it now, and develop it into your work. Like, but I think still real's still going to be there. I think it's going to always be there. Like, that's why people still go back to film and stuff, I think, because it's cool that it's raw and stuff. But I don't mind it. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, we might have time for one more question. Is there a burning?
It's not a super burning question. No. I just had a question in like this world of like a lot of monotony and sameness. Who would you say, like celebrity or otherwise, is the biggest punk in the social and artistic and entertaining space right now? Not necessarily in look, but in attitude and vibe as well.
I don't know, I think like the filmmakers out there, I can't think of anyone in particular. I should have researched that, but who's the punk? I'm not sure. Does anyone else have any favourite punks out there?
What are the films that you're thinking of?
Or like when I look at films, I often look at lighting and colour and like the way I don't know, like when I think of like Fight Club, you know, the toning and the colours and like that sort of stuff really inspires me and stuff. And there's their thought process on how they compose stuff, and I think that's always inspiring when you see stuff like that. You're like, got to pause it because you're like, oh, look at that light there and here and there. Yeah. But as in a famous punk, I can't think of anyone right now. I'm still freaking out about doing this.
You can say yourself. Well, thank you very much, Theresa. I think she deserves a huge round of applause.